It's 7 o'clock, and you're watching 39 HTV, Houston's television station.
Cause of my HIV infection was a blood transfusion.
I was telling him that he had to get better, and he would just shake his head and yeah.
I thank God every 5 seconds.
These are some of the stories tonight on Houston TV News.
Good evening, everyone. David has the night off. There is another shocker from the sports world. Tennis great Arthur Ashe has AIDS. His doctors believe he contracted the deadly disease after heart surgery in 1983. Our other top stories tonight. Residents outside Brenham are trying to rebuild one day after that deadly pipeline blast. Plus, Houstonians opened their hearts to little 3-year-old burn victim Travis Medvey. Arthur Ashe says he's known he's had AIDS since 1988, but only decided to go public with his condition after it was leaked to the press. The former U.S. Open and he contracted the virus from a blood transfusion during heart bypass surgery. He says he chose to keep his condition quiet for more than 3 years to avoid hurting his family.
They are still learning about this disease. My family and I must now learn a new set of behavioral standards to function in the everyday world. And sadly, there really was no good reason for this to have happened now. But it has happened, and we will adjust and go forward.
And thankfully, Ashe's wife and daughter have both tested HIV negative. Well, obviously, everyone is really concerned about this, and a lot of people are devastated, especially tennis fans who really feel that Ashe is one of the true gentlemen of the game. Alan Ashby, of course, joins us now with a look at one of the game's true greats.
Thank you, Lori. It really is a devastating story. Former tennis great Arthur Ashe is the only black man to have ever won any of tennis's Grand Slam events. He captured 2 U.S. Open titles, the Australian Open, and is perhaps best remembered for his upset win over Jimmy Connors for the '75 Wimbledon crown. In 1963, he became the first black to represent the U.S. on the Davis Cup team, eventually playing on 4 Davis Cup championship teams and captaining 2 others. Politically, Ashe helped to get South Africa banned from the Davis Cup and was a leader in urging black athletes to use their success to promote civil rights. And the 48-year-old is currently working as a tennis expert for HBO.
All right, and you know, it was just a few short months ago, 5 months, that Magic Johnson shocked both the sports community and the world by announcing he had tested positive for the HIV virus. But Arthur Ashe's disclosure today is doubly deadly because he got AIDS during a normal surgical procedure, something doctors say isn't likely to happen to others, but it could.
Hopefully this will, increase awareness among young people about the HIV virus, so people will be cautious in their own lives about contracting the HIV virus. What it might do in the medical community as far as people receiving transfusions and open heart surgery is they might depend on what we call autologous transfusion. For surgery, you can use your own blood.
Now, he says that back in the late 70s and early 80s, when there was no mandatory AIDS blood testing, the odds were 1 in 1,000 of contracting AIDS that way. Well, now he says the odds are a minuscule 1 in a million that any patient will get AIDS during a surgical procedure. He says anyone who has had surgery in the last decade and shows any symptoms at all should take an AIDS test as a precaution and do that immediately. Well, joining us now is Jane Cizik, a volunteer who helps raise money for AIDS research. Jane, how do you think today's decision or announcement is going to affect the way you raise funds here in Houston?
I think it's going to be very positive. Arthur got AIDS because of something that was completely out of his control, and I think it'll give AIDS fundraising a big push.
You say it will help. Has it been really difficult in the past to try to get people, especially corporate people, to come up with enough big money to really help?
Well, my husband and I, who are co-chairing the event this year, have not found that so, but Houston is traditionally generous, and the corporate community has really gotten behind this, and we have raised a lot of money. We've exceeded our goal already for Houston.
Oh, it's good to hear, absolutely. You just mentioned an event that you're chairing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and when it's going to happen?
Well, it's called Heartstrings, and it is going to be April 29th at Jones Hall, and it's a musical experience. It's a wonderful, uplifting, and heartwarming experience that is designed to get people involved and to make them feel like they really want to get behind this terrible epidemic.
Let's hope it works. I'm sure it will.
Thank you.
Jane, thank you for being with us. And coming up tonight at 11, a story you will not want to miss. We'll show you how a frightened family deals with AIDS by putting it center stage. And when we come back tonight, we'll deliver your heartwarming gifts to young Travis Medvey. Plus,
Lori, a story that will put a lump in your throat. And if you stay with us, I will show you one of the warmest spots in Texas.
April is a big month for Astros fans. Here's the Dome lineup. The Astros meet the Reds April 9 through 12, the Dodgers April 13 through 15, the Padres April 17 through 19, and the Giants April 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets for these games and more at the Dome box office, Ticketmaster Ticket Centers, or call 629-3700.
Hey, you want a good truck? Nobody beats our prices at Worthington Chevrolet. Look, here's an 87 GMC Safari van, $49.95. Here's an 89 GMC a half-ton pickup, $59.95. Here's an 89 Chevy extended cab pickup, $79.95. Here's a 90 Dodge, a van conversion, $99.95. And here's an 89 Chevy Suburban, the Silverado Suburban, $10,995. Nobody beats our prices. It's Worthington Chevrolet, the Southwest Freeway at Hillcroft.
Doing it yourself can save you a lot of money if you get it right the first time. Make sure you do. Ask Ace.
See Ace Best Buys on Quickset's Grecian entry lot, just $14.99, and single-cylinder deadbolt, just $13.49. Also at Ace, get Stanley's 6-piece screwdriver set, just $3.77, and Stanley's 100-foot steel measuring tape, just $9.99.
Ace Best Buys, another reason Ace is the place for you.
See your Ace Hardware Southwest Dealer Association members in the Houston area for these and many other Ace Best Buys.
The athletic trainers of every major pro sport recommend one pain-relieving gel, Flexall 454. I use it for my kind of pain. And now aloe vera-based Flexall is used almost everywhere. In tennis clubs, backyard gardens, on the golf course, bike paths, road races. Flexall is just about everywhere people suffer from sore muscles and joints. If you're living with pain, join the pro trainers, me and everybody else. Get Flexall, the pain relief pro trainers recommend.
tonight they're closer to more details on what triggered yesterday's devastating pipeline explosion. The National Transportation Safety Board has been going over the scorched scene near Brenham all day. They're checking reports a remote-controlled pipeline valve moved improperly just a few hours before the place blew up.
Obviously, we're going to be investigating to determine whether this was a false alarm or whether there was any significance to this movement.
And to figure out how it all happened, they're going to check maintenance records and talk to plenty of eyewitnesses. And while the investigation goes on, so of course does the cleanup. But many of the victims are finding that their homes are a total loss. Julia Hilder has their story.
They are packing in boxes what is left, digging out possessions from under splintered wood and twisted metal.
I've salvaged my mother's days.
Homeowners who lost so much in the pipeline explosion are walking away with what is left.
The furniture's all in pieces. Everything got buffeted so much it just broke it all up.
Dave Bennett's Victorian-style home sits on a hill overlooking the pipeline. The dream house he built is now gone.
Dave Bennett was in his truck at the time of the explosion. He was not hurt, but he knew that his wife and his one-year-old baby girl were on the second floor of what was left of their house.
My daughter was right up above me here, and my wife was in the far corner. Somebody put the hand down and protected us, especially my wife. She was in a really bad spot.
And he is not alone in that thought. Those who now are picking up their lives feel lucky to have lives to pick up at all. Julia Hilder, 39 News at 7.
That is so true. And Julia also says the homeowners are also lucky to have insurance coverage. Insurance adjusters were already out there surveying damage today. If your home was devastated by the explosion and you've already been approached by an attorney who wants your business, they're bugging you, listen up. The State Bar of Texas says disciplinary rules forbid lawyers from soliciting uninvited contact with disaster victims. Now, if that's happened to you, call the State Bar of Texas at this toll-free number. It's 1-800-252-9690. We, of course, have been checking on the 4 people who suffered serious burns in the explosion. They're all at Herman Hospital tonight. Doctors say 31-year-old Jane Minen, whose little 6-year-old son was killed yesterday, is not doing very well tonight. She suffered massive injuries. 46-year-old Gloria Diver and her daughter, 27-year-old Dolores Medvey, are in critical but stable condition tonight. And Medvey's little 3-year-old son, Travis, is doing better tonight, we're glad to say. Doctors tell us he is in good condition. Little Travis sure has tugged at our hearts. He is an adorable little boy, and at the age of 3, it's really tough for him to know just what's going on and why he hurts. Well, so many of you have sent presents for Travis here to the station, and as promised, I took them by Herman Hospital for you today, and I'll do that as long as you keep sending them. Travis is in the pediatric critical care unit, so we're not able to visit him just yet, but his nurse was very excited to see all the goodies we brought him. Hi, you're Travis's nurse, right?
Yes, I'm Kathy Kennedy.
Well, it's nice to meet you. How is he doing today?
Well, he's been sleeping today, but he's doing really good. He's been talking to his dad and telling his dad how much he loved him, and so he's been doing really well.
Oh, that's good to hear. Well, the community has really shown us an outpouring of support for little Travis. First of all, we've got a little teddy bear, and I hope you'll give it to him. It's from those of us at Channel 39 who are keeping up with him.
Okay.
And then already we've had some people drop by little books and things like that for Travis. So if you could give them to him for us, we'd really appreciate it.
Okay, he'll probably be able to sleep with the bear tonight.
Oh, good.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Okay. Well, Kathy, thank you, and give him a hug and a kiss from all of us.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, Travis's family also wants to thank River Oaks Chrysler for sending over that box of goodies. Travis's dad, Kevin, told me his son is finally alert enough to talk to him, which is the reason he was smiling a little bit today, and we'll hear more from him and Travis's doctors coming up at 11 o'clock. And once again, if you would like to send cards and letters to Travis or any of the blast victims, we'll be sure that they receive your greetings. Just send them to us here at 39 HTV at 7700 West Park, right here in Houston. The zip is 77063. Well, the Shriners Awards Dinner honors many of the men who raise money to help seriously burned kids like Travis Medvey. Jim McCrell is standing by live at that dinner right now. Jim?
Laurie, this is the symbol that we associate with the Shriners, the famous red fez, and I am at the dinner where these men are being honored for their hard work in helping kids, as you said, like Travis. Now, because of these men and their hard work, I would like to show you what's being done for burn victims and their families. And because of these guys, there is no better place than the Shriners Burn Center in Galveston.
Shriners Hospital in Galveston has helped burn victims and their families overcome the devastation of burns for over 26 years. Keeping the spirits alive is as important as healing the body.
Play is the work of children, and play is their environment and how they do in their everyday normal lives. And here in the hospital, to be as normal as possible and to be a kid as much as possible is very important.
For some kids like Ricky, the greatest pain comes from teasing.
They just walk up there to me and say, hey, did your mama burn you and stuff like that?
All play and no work is not the road to recovery. And rehabilitation is the hard work, and it happens in here.
Even though Travis Medvey, who was burned yesterday in Brenham, is improving, he faces rehab, which is a long and tedious process. Ricardo has been at it for 14 years. For the burn victim's family, the pain is just as great.
Some days are worse than others, you know. It's just, some days you can really see the progress, and then it gives you a little bit of motivation for the next day. And then the next day, it's a one day at a time thing, I'll tell you that.
At the Shriners Hospital, there's a lot of support to keep that will alive.
And all of that hard work and all of that tender care of those children is being done because of this group of men and Shriners like them all across the United States. Now, these guys are putting on the Shriners Circus. It starts tonight and will run through Sunday. And if you want a chance to help Travis and help other kids like him, come down and enjoy this circus. Laurie?
Oh, absolutely. Those poor children, Jim. We're really thankful for the Shriners' efforts.
They do a great job.
They certainly do. Coming up next, Kathy says spring has really sprung this time right on into summer. Her forecast is next.
Another Meineke profile of the smart and thrifty. There they are. They're not celebrities, they're not millionaires, but they know how to take advantage of life's finest because they know the value of $1. It's no secret, she's very economical.
I clip coupons and shop on Wednesdays.
And how did he contribute to this culinary experience? I didn't pay a lot for a muffler at Meineke. Come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, the muffler and brake specialist, where you'll get more life out of your car and more miles for your $1. At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot for a muffler.
Now you can see 4 islands in 7 days on an American Hawaii cruise.
Hawaii.
Book now, and you'll save up to 24%.
Maui.
And children can sail for only $129.
Wow.
Or you can cruise for only $895. But call now, or you might just miss the vacation you've always wanted. American Hawaii Cruises. Don't miss a thing.
At Walgreens, saving money is a snap. Save $1 on M&M Holidays Easter treats, 11 to 14-ounce size, just $1.99. New L'Oreal Permavive shampoo and conditioner are on sale, only $3.49. They're free after rebate. And get a check for $3 off your next Walgreens purchase when you buy selected Clairol hair color kits. Check Walgreens newspaper ad for details. Snap up big savings this week at Walgreens.
Turned out to be pleasant enough today. A couple of clouds in the morning, but
well, we had some cloudy skies this morning, but topped out at 80 degrees. That's not so bad. I think the forecast for the next couple of days is going to kind of feel like summer. We're talking a partly cloudy, warm, humid, and slight chance of shower. You know that routine. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But first of all, our weather school question for today. Here it is. Because of the Earth's rotation, wind blows faster at the poles than the equator. Is that statement true or false? I'll give you the answer in a minute. First of all, here in the Houston area, well, we've had the cloud cover, but overall it hasn't been too bad. Cloudy skies being reported right now up at Intercontinental Airport, where the temperature is 73 degrees, humidity also 73%. The wind now is coming from the southeast at 10 miles an hour, and the barometer is on the rise at 29.99. Now, the picture probably tells you best. Here's the cloud cover in motion. We have had some low-level moisture coming in on the surface from the Gulf, but some of the high clouds that you're seeing are coming in out of Mexico and originating out in the Pacific. As far as shower and thunderstorm activity, it's been pretty isolated, but with this one cloud mass, you see that there is some pretty high storm tops. That one has created some problems up in the Childress area, and we'll bring in our rain for you and show you exactly where that is occurring. That's about the only activity that we're seeing within the state of Texas. Otherwise, it's scattered across the western half of the country for a change. New showers are moving in across the Pacific Northwest, and everything is starting to dry out now for the Atlantic coastline. They have been hit with rain now the last couple of days, but it's time for a little break. And things are moving mainly from west to east, so we're not seeing any great chance of rain, although there's about a 20% likelihood because of this trough that you see out to the west. As this pushes across, confronting a little moisture in the area and a drier air mass behind, there is a chance of seeing some rain. Tomorrow's picture pretty well shows you what I'm talking about. The odds are still pretty low, about 20%, and the weekend doesn't look too bad, folks. So let's take a look at it. Tonight we're expecting a low of 65 degrees, mostly cloudy. Could see a little of the fog again tonight and tomorrow morning at the bus stop, where your temperature should be around 67, a light breeze, and tomorrow afternoon we should top out very near 80 degrees, very much like today. A 20% risk of rain, a southeast breeze, and the temperatures the next couple of days are holding in the upper 70s to the low 80s, and it doesn't look too bad. The answer to today's weather school question is false. Does not blow any faster.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kathy. Coming up next in sports, we'll have more on Arthur Ashe's battle against AIDS. Alan will have more from the tennis legend and his fans. And the Astros get set for round 2 with Neon Dion and the Braves.
Hey, you want the very best deal on a new Chevy truck? Well, let me tell you, you can drive all over Texas and you won't beat these prices. Look at this. A 92 Chevy S10 Maxi Cab, $10,895. A 92 Chevy half-ton Silverado, $11,995. And a 92 Chevy Extended Cab Pickup, $12,595. A 92 Chevy Custom Truck, $12,995. Here's a 92 Chevy Extended Cab, a custom truck, $18,795. And here's a 92 Chevy Astro van, $12,995. Here's a 92 Chevy, a beautiful van conversion, $15,995. Here's a 92 Chevy Astro van conversion, $13,995. Here's a 92 Chevy Suburban, $15,995. And here's a 92 Chevy, another van conversion, $17,595. Again, you can drive all over Texas, and you won't beat the prices on the new truck. It's Worthington Chevrolet. Come down the Southwest Freeway to Hillcroft.
What causes more back injuries? Sitting all day in front of a computer screen or heavy lifting? The answer? But she's not alone. 4 out of every 5 Americans will experience painful back injuries, some so severe they can't even move. So if you begin to feel stiffness in your back or neck, or numbness or tingling in your hands or legs, see us for a free initial spinal exam, because prompt action now could prevent surgery later. Just call 271-BACK, 271-BACK.
Chiron Network Healthcare Centers.
Hi, I'm David Scott.
And I'm Lori Tucker. Times are changing for the better in Houston. We'll show you why.
Our 39 HTV movie is Trading Places. And we'll show you how it will affect your life. It's a fast-paced moving story you won't want to miss.
We're starting spring off with a bang on 39.
Brace yourself for this blockbuster hit.
Starting April 9th, the 39 HTV movie at 8 moves to 7. The news at 7 moves to 9. Just watch. It'll be a moving experience.
Well, if you were with us at the top of the newscast, you heard the stunning news that tennis great Arthur Ashe has AIDS. Announced it today.
That's right. You may recall sometime back when Magic Johnson announced 5 months ago or so that I said you may not be surprised, but I think most people will be, that the number of athletes that will come out with AIDS in the next few years. Unfortunate. Reaction continues to pour in from the sports world on the heels of the announcement from tennis legend Arthur Ashe that he does have AIDS. Here's a look at the man behind the racket and the challenge facing him as well as our nation.
You know, it's just going to probably stress the more importance as far as the AIDS, the council they got going in Washington, D.C., and with Magic Johnson.
Less than 5 months after Magic shocked the world, another prominent sports figure has been challenged by one of our society's deadliest killers.
Just as I am sure everyone in this room has some personal matter that he or she would like to keep private, so did we.
Now, like it or not, the only black man to win Wimbledon is one of sports pioneers in the battle to educate America, something Magic started.
Now, hopefully, with Arthur Ashe's name, he is also a famous enough athlete for this country. With his name being in the news, hopefully it will, again, bring about more awareness.
I've also gained much insight in watching Irvin Johnson weave his magic among school children, and I suspect we may join hands to work together.
Ashe was known on the court as a gentleman and a leader, but a private man off the court. His soft-spoken way winning fans while he won Grand Slam titles in the 60s and 70s. But now he'll be under the public microscope while the AIDS problem continues.
It's human nature to go about as if you will never die, you will never get sick, and you will, oh, you hear about somebody being in a bad accident or somebody was in an explosion or a burn or something like that. You go about your business thinking that, oh, I'll never be in that. That's never going to happen to me until it actually happens to you. Then it's too late to do anything about it.
The former Wimbledon champion's announcement sent shockwaves throughout Houston's tennis community today.
I think it's a real tragedy. I wish the country could do more about trying to get a cure for the disease personally, and I'm real shocked about it. I just found out about it a couple hours ago.
It's real tragic. I just heard about it. I didn't realize what y'all were talking about. I thought maybe he died, but looks like it's going to be a tough deal. Sorry to hear it.
Oh, I think it's tragic. I think Arthur Ashe is a person that anyone who knows anything about the sport of tennis or him as an individual has to admire him and his accomplishments, and I think the fact that he's come up with AIDS is a tragic consequence of a terrible disease.
He's just been a class person as far as a tennis player, and credit to the game, and just as a gentleman, and things he's done for tennis, and it's just really hard to believe.
obviously a great deal of concern. There is other news in the sports world today. The Astros and Braves are about to get started out of the Dome. Last night, the Braves picked up right where they ended 1991, going about their business of winning with Tom Glavine throwing a 2-hit shutout at Art Howe's young Astros, despite some great pitching by Pete Harnisch.
Most nights he's going to win pitching the way he did tonight. It wasn't his night because Glavine was up against him and pitched a great game.
We got a job to do to help the team win. I think we're going to have a great team this year, and I want us to get off to a good start. Pete threw a great ball game.
First pitch is in about 10 minutes, and judging by this sign, at least some of last night's faithful do remain optimistic, including catcher-turned-second baseman Craig Biggio, who finally made his regular season debut at the second sack last night.
The first couple innings I was nervous, but, it's a little bit different here on the turf. There's less bad hops like there are in spring training, and you can see the ball for that real well here, so, but I felt pretty good.
Darryl Kyle will be doing the pitching in place of Mark Portugal, who has been sick. And finally, baseball's ownership committee has gathered to discuss and likely agree to the proposed sale of the Seattle Mariners to the now well-known Japanese group led by Nintendo's president. Current $100+ million deal now guarantees the Japanese will have less than a 50% voting right in that matter, and that appears to be the matter that was holding things up for some time. Also, a couple games this afternoon. San Diego beat Cincinnati, Toronto beat Detroit, and Roy Tarpley's heading back to playing a little basketball for John Lucas's team down in Miami.
Oh, and you are out of here.
I am out of here.
Okay, I'll see you later. If you need a few things to finish off decorating your home, head on over to the Start Galleries tomorrow night, where you can pick up some real conversation pieces. 1,000 pieces of history are going on the auction block this weekend. All are from the Bayou Bend Museum, which is undergoing renovations. And tonight at 11, we will show you more of what's up for sale. And we have a reminder. This is our last broadcast at 7 o'clock. We're moving to 9 in case you haven't heard, and it starts tomorrow night. But our 11 o'clock newscast is staying right where it is, and that's where we'll see you again tonight. Hard copy is up next. Good night.